You guys have no idea. I know, because I've spent some time with some of you guys. Okay. So here's the deal. The first pair of shoes should always be black. You should not start out with a brown pair of shoes. Your first shoe should always be black. Now you should have one tie shoes. See, these are tie shoes. And then you should have one slip-on, like this kind of style. You know, it could have like the metal in the front, or it doesn't have to. My bag fell. So you should have that kind of stuff. Also, what you should have in your shoes, which I don't know if any of your parents have taught you this, but if you want your shoes to stay nice, you should have what's called cedar trees. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but if you want your shoes to stay nice, it's like the wooden, and it stays in your stays in your shoes, and it keeps the moisture out. It's pretty important. I recommend it. I don't always have, but when I was younger and I used to really take care of my shoes, I used to have the cedar trees.
We don't carry those. You know what's really cool about them? You can get the main departments for Macy's, Nordstrom's, Lord & Taylor. Not only does it keeps your shoe from curling up. Have you ever noticed you take your shoes up how they kind of curl up and you get those cracks in the front of the shoe? That's a very good point.
Nice. Also ties. You should have 3 per suit. Skinny or thinner ties are in style now. You can do simple solids, then you can get into stripes, but you should always have like a one solid. You should start with a solid. And then, of course, get into stripes. And then colors that work are blues, red, gold, orange. I like orange, and pink if you want to be daring. Pink is cool. It's a good way to be daring. I see you wear pink, I know. You could also try to do a paisley or a dot. I actually brought a paisley tie. I think I brought a paisley tie. Yep, I did. So if you want, you know, a little something a little daring, you can wear like a little paisley, something a little different. Okay. Now, there are different kinds of knots. We're going to show you later how to do different kinds of knots. There's the regular tie knot, there's the Windsor, there's the half Windsor. We're going to talk about that. And your tie, just so everybody knows, I don't know, sometimes some of these guys don't know this stuff, but I learned from my dad. It's supposed to end at your belt buckle. If it doesn't end at your belt buckle, you look like a moron. And don't go to an interview with your tie. And I go to court sometimes. Sometimes guys, they go to court, they look like absolute, you know, like this. It's like, I'm like, how's the judge going to take you seriously? You're like this, you know? Or then they have them like down here. You can't do that. And it's very important when you walk into a room how important your dress is, because that's what people see first. It doesn't have to be flashy. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I do that's not flashy. We're going to talk about that. So we went through, so far we covered suits, we covered dress shirts, we covered shoes, we covered ties. Now I want to just talk about accessories. You should have a few sets of shirt stays. What's a shirt stay? What are these? This is to keep your collar like stiff. Sometimes I go to court, guys don't have shirt stays. I'll like give them like a paper clip to make it work. And guys are giving it to me. You got to have a shirt stay. Of course, if you have one of those shirts where it's like a button down, which is not the most in style to wear with a suit. That's more like for a golf look, or maybe if you're going to after, it's just not as cool as having a shirt.
It works well under a sweater too, because that way keeps your collar inside the sweater.
Right, better with like a sweater, but you don't want to wear it with a suit with a little button. It's not too cool. But these shirt stays, you need these. And now and this is something Alan mentioned to me, which is, it's hard to put a shirt stay back in when you don't have a mirror. Something Alan mentioned to me is you should, I want to do this after. When it's cold and you're wearing a suit, all you guys, I don't know if you've ever seen a friend of yours like have an interview, and then they leave their dorm or whatever, and they have their suit on or a jacket on, and they have their ski jacket on top of it. No good. You never want to go to an interview with like the ski jacket. You want to have like an overcoat. I have one right here, and of course Alan brought some, but you want to have like a nice overcoat like this. So it goes on top of your suit, so you look like a big boy, you know? Big boy,
expensive.
This is what you want to do. So I think it's really important that you have one of these. Make sure you get one of these, especially if you're interviewing with, somebody going into a city or, one of the cities in New Jersey. Also, it's good to have a blue blazer or a black blazer or even a gray sport jacket. But you should have like a suit and like a blazer, one blazer. Joe is wearing a blazer. That is exactly what that is, a blazer. It's a blue blazer. You should at least have one. That's important. With pins on it, too. You should have a pair of boat shoes. I don't know, you guys know, Chance always wore boat shoes. He wears boat shoes. It's good to have a pair of boat shoes that are in decent shape because you can wear them with a pair of jeans, you can wear them with a pair of khakis. This is like not to go, for an interview, but this is just something to have so you're a little bit more dressed up. Also, you should have a watch. Now, I wear like my grandfather's old Whitnauer. It's like a classic watch. It should be thinner. You don't want to wear like a G-Shock or anything like that. And you also don't want to wear anything like gold. You want to keep it like silver, or maybe like a leather band. I'm just talking with a suit. I mean, you guys could do whatever you want, day to day. But when you wear a suit, you should have like a nice sedate watch. I think it's really important. It doesn't have to be expensive. This is my grandfather's watch. This is like an heirloom with a skeleton, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. But you should have a nice watch. Okay. And here's something else that nobody will tell you, but you're like in the age of like 21, 22. When you get to that age of like 24, 25, maybe 26, I think friends are going to start getting married. Once your friends start getting married, buy a tuxedo. Because you're going to go to 6, 7, 8 weddings. Probably guys in this room, because that's what happened when I graduated college. I went to all my fraternity brothers' weddings. If you have a tuxedo, you can get a lot of use out of it. You pay a couple $100, and you can get a nice tuxedo. You don't even have to get like the tuxedo tie. You can even, you can get a tie, like a nice like gray or a black dress tie. Change it up a little bit. But it's like a good look. And if you have your own tuxedo, you can, it's yours. You don't have to worry about returning it. I think that's a good idea. So these are just a few suggestions for what's called a men's wardrobe. Of course, styles come and go, but I say have fun with it. I mean, just make sure that you feel good about what you're wearing. And when you feel good about what you're wearing, you present yourself better. I mean, look how nice these guys are dressed. Look at Alan, look at Alex. Dressed very nice. It's very important. I mean, even Joe today, even though he's like, sometimes he wears like a wife beater shirt when he does a meeting, but today you just look at him and you're like, you know what, it's impressive. Like he just looks better. He does. It happens to me.
He almost wear the tank top.
I mean, he's not as well dressed as us, but it's important, and I think it's a big deal thing. And even if you're in like not corporate America, I mean, of course, if you're working construction or if you're a plumber, but if you're interviewing and you're involved in some type of interview process, you should definitely listen to some of the things I said, and you should keep these ideas. Now, I purposely made this as a laminated because I wanted you guys to save it, because right now it's like in your head, but like, oh, I'm not a senior yet. Just keep it somewhere. Keep it to the side. I made some that are on a piece of paper too. If you can't, just save it. But the laminated ones are better to save, and you just always have it. All right, I'm going to leave now. Oh, Dave Powell has a question.
I don't know if I have one other point that I've seen way too many times, and I've definitely seen it in the chapter. If you have dress shoes, buy a pair of dress socks. Don't wear white socks and black pants.
Now here, look. Okay, see? Now I go with a little bit of style. I get a little props when I go to court. See? So does he. Now it's important to wear dark with dark shoes and light with, lighter shoes. You're supposed to match it to your shoes, not your suit, just so you know. And also one other thing, I've had some other like tips and things, but I just went through the general. But you should also match your belt to your shoes. Don't mess that up.
That's like handbag too, guys.
Right, and to your handbag. If your handbag doesn't match, no good. I just want to make sure I covered all the points. There's a little bit of some more detail about sleeves for shirts, about cuffs, but I'll let some of these guys talk about, pants. I'll let you guys, talk a little bit about that type of stuff. But I just want to give you like a general overview. I think I covered all the basics, right? I have it right here. Wearing white socks with dark pants should not happen. There was one other thing. I want you to, after this is all over, everyone knows my Twitter. It's Law EB Morel. Everyone knows. A lot of the guys follow me on Twitter. I want you to write like the best tip you got or something that you'll remember after the meeting on my Twitter. So at Law EB Morel, and you can write if you want a hashtag Dress for Success. You can. I just think it's fun, and I think it's something fun to do.
Make a Twitter gesture.
Right, just like do a hashtag Dress for Success.
You can do it on Facebook.
Hopefully you guys could spell success, and I figure it'll be good. All right, so I'm going to leave this over to Alex and Alan.
I have one question. When you're talking about the ties, for interviews, like not just for like in general with a suit, how appropriate are bow ties for interviews? Not like bow ties like the ones I wear, but like an actual like more formal one.
Well, as
like
you
that,
can
for
see,
example.
Alan is wearing a bow tie. I mean, if you feel like it's a bow tie and you want, as a lawyer, I would not go to my first interview with a law firm with a bow tie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but there are places that you could probably get away with. It's a little cocky.
If you're interviewing marketing, an advertising.
Right, maybe something you can pull it off, but it's a little cocky.
Okay. Okay.
I actually once heard, and this is like, this is not recording anymore, but I once heard a guy who worked for me as a lawyer went to law school at Seton Hall, and he was told that you can't wear stripes until you're like 10 years a lawyer. I think it's ridiculous, but there are like these old social norms. I mean, I've worn stripes at the beginning, and it's like, it's my thing. I like stripes. I think it looks cool. It's boring to wear like an old plain.
Ironic, because isn't the goal of the lawyer to keep their clients from wearing stripes?
Yeah, that's true. Nice. I like that. And it's funny, you know how I talk about dressing? Even though you know I'm a criminal defense attorney, I tell my clients how to dress for court. I tell the men how to dress and the women. I mean, you know, I don't get fancy, but I say, look, wear a pair of slacks, a button down. You know, if you don't have a button down, wear a golf shirt. You know, I mean, you know, they're not dressing up for church, they're dressing up for court. But I just say, have a belt, you know, I want shoes, no sneakers. And most of them can put it together, just enough, button down shirt. I even tell the women, when you go to court, like I'll go to court in Marlboro back in the day. I mean, some of you guys know Marlboro. Yeah. I go to court with these women. They were wearing like fancy glasses, fur jackets. Guys are wearing Fila suits. I'm like, this is not no good. Go in the car, go change, go home. So I'm serious. It's very important. I tell women, don't wear nice sunglasses, don't wear nice jewelry. You know, this is not like you're going out to a club. You want to look sedate and you want to look serious. And I think dress is very important. I will say this, my grandmother was voted best dressed in high school, and she was homecoming queen. My father was voted best dressed, and my grandmother also had a clothing store, women's clothing store. So it's like part of who I am. And I always think that it's important to dress. And I want you guys to know how to dress. I think it's very important. I also don't want Ryan to have like that day he had.
You know, that was a horrible day.
It's like he was in between an exam. It was all kind of crazy.
I was.
All right, so let me let you guys take over. They got, just so you know, they have giveaways for you guys. They have ties. We're going to raffle off. They have all kinds of suits. We're going to let a couple people try them on. Let Joe run, who's going to try on the suits and figure that out, so we're not all crazy. And if anyone needs any extra laminated, I have like one more extra.
All right, thank you, Eric.